Hey, this is Van Silk from Rock Bottom Sports. I'm so over it. So listen, check this out. This year, 2024, it's the Olympics in Paris. So I'm gonna have to start talking about the gymnastics, track and field. But right now, we know what happened the last time when the NBA team went there. We know what happened, right? I don't think there's ever going to be a team like the Dream Team with Jordan, Larry Bird, and Magic Johnson. But hey, listen, I'm going to make this real short because I got to do one for the women, and I've been up all day. But you check out Rock Bottom Sports on rumble.com. You can go to Instagram, Rock Bottom Sports, click on our page, and then we also have a page for women, WNBA Ballers, on rumble.com. But listen, LeBron, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and a few of them guys are going to get the gold and bring the gold back home. So check out this year's 2024 Team USA Olympic team and learn something. Watch and see them get their jerseys and everything. I'll be back and we're going to discuss the ladies later on. Y'all have a blessed day. Rock Bottom Sports. Man Silk, I gotta go. I got to go.
Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, all the talks we heard before were confirmed. Team USA is coming for everyone's throats. Just last week, USA Basketball has finalized and announced their 12-man roster for Paris 2024 Olympics. Guys, they've announced the final squad in April. Usually, like for example before the 2016 or 2020 Olympics, these announcements would only come at the end of June, right before the Olympics. So this tells me a few things. First, they've got commitment from all their picks early, and second, those guys who were picked and announced were the priority. So let's take a look at the list of players who are going to represent Team USA in Paris 2024 Olympic Games. With the guards, you got the best shooter in the world, Steph Curry, the best playmaker right now, Tyrese Haliburton, a lethal scorer in Devin Booker, Jrue Holiday as a lockdown defender, and a two-way star who led the 2023 Team USA, Anthony Edwards. Honestly, I don't know how Steve Kerr, Eric Spoelstra, Tyronn Lue, and Mark Few are gonna split the minutes between those five. Now, with the forwards, you got probably the biggest names you could get, the GOAT himself, then one of the best scorers of all time, KD, who's been even more dangerous in FIBA, then probably the biggest young American star right now, Jason Tatum, and also Kawhi Leonard, who can work it on both ends of the floor. Next up, centers. That was the position lacking the most last year when they only had Jaren Jackson Jr. and Walker Kessler. Now they're fulfilling their full potential with Joel Embiid, who I don't really see being stopped by anyone, Anthony Davis, who with that no defensive 3-second rule will be an even better rim protector, and then you got Bam Adebayo, with who you can play a little bit of a smaller, quicker lineup. It's almost an overkill how many stars they're sending to Paris this year. And I was reading all these names and it felt more like announcing who made the All-Star game this year. Well, in fact, 11 out of those 12 players were All-Stars this season, with just Jrue Holiday not being one, but actually even he was an All-Star last year. So basically a full team of All-Stars, the biggest American names you could think of, are all committed to the national team. The 2023 World Cup squad had 3 All-Stars, the 2020 Olympic squad had 5, and the 2019 World Cup team had only 2. What was their results in those 3 tournaments? 4th place in the 2023 World Cup, gold medals in Tokyo 2020, and 7th place in the 2019 World Cup. Okay, so what? Americans don't care about the World Cups, all they care about is Olympics. Yes, but even in the last Olympics, their squad was relatively young, missing many of the bigger names, and they even lost in the group stage to France. All these subpar results in recent years have only ignited more discussions about how internationals are taking over the NBA, and even questions whether the USA is still king of basketball. Now, seeing this very early commitment from all these stars is just telling me one thing: Team USA is ready to shut up all these haters. But before I move on and talk about why they're probably gonna be successful, a quick shout out to Hostinger. Hostinger provides not only hosting services but also has a website builder that's powered by AI. Instead of spending hours learning to code or using unoriginal templates, you can just type in a text prompt and customize a website from scratch in minutes. Use our code BNews10 and get an additional 10% discount on all hosting plans. Alright, so on paper all these names look unbeatable, but what do I actually think about their chances to win it all? As much as I would like to have hope for other teams in the Olympics, I think we're going to see Dream Team 3.0, 4.0, or whatever .0 that is going to sweep this tournament and bring gold medals back from Paris. I've already reacted to KD's statement where he said he wants to beat every team by 40-50 points, and my stance hasn't changed. I still think it's not 1992 and teams are just better. That being said, this was before the groups were announced and before I knew Team USA's roster. Now, do I think that this team is going to beat Serbia or the winner of the qualifier, which is most likely Lithuania or Italy, by 50? No, but I could imagine a 20 to 30 point difference for sure. South Sudan? Well, I think we can expect some record-breaking performance with 60 or 70 point margins. But that's not even it. Besides having 12 All-Stars, 4 NBA MVPs, and 6 NBA champions, there's another thing that's really a game changer when comparing to the previous Team USA teams. And that's FIBA experience. For the last decade or so, USA's roster often featured players who were debuting in FIBA basketball, and that has its effect. It takes time to adjust to a smaller court, no defensive 3-second rule, which automatically means there's less spacing. It also takes time to adjust to the fact that the refs will call travels, or the fact that you can swat the ball away from the rim. But almost all the players that were announced have played in FIBA tournaments. Durant is the most experienced of the bunch. He has won the 2010 World Cup gold, played in the last 3 Olympics, and also became Team USA's all-time Olympic statistical leader in scoring. LeBron James, who's making his return, will compete in his 4th games. He won gold in 2008 and 2012 and made his Olympics debut in 2004. And he also was in that bronze 2006 squad. Booker, Holiday, Tatum, and Adebayo were all part of the 2020 Tokyo team, plus Tatum played with the team that finished 7th in the 2019 World Cup, while Steph has had 2 appearances at the World Cup in 2014 and 2010. AD played in 2012 Olympics and 2014 World Cup, and finally Haliburton and Edwards both debuted in the 2023 World Cup. The only 2 guys who do not have any prior experience are Kawhi and Embiid. And that's not the only thing that these 2 have in common. Seeing how they're struggling with the injuries right now, I'm not sure if we're going to see them play in the Olympics. I would rather expect them both to take the summer off and focus on recovery for next season, but you'll never know. This might be a legendary team with a legendary run that might be remembered forever, and also both Embiid and Kawhi are both in their 30s, so this might be their last chance to win Olympic gold. If they do play though, I will be very interested to see Embiid potentially facing off with France at whatever stage of the tournament that happens. As you know, Joel had already promised to play for France in Paris, but in a quick turn of events changed his mind and committed to play for the US. What makes
On paper, the 2024 USA basketball team looks invincible. But games aren't won on paper, are they?
Schroeder steps back. Count it! The Germans have taken a 6-point lead!
I've compared this team to every national team from the past 20 years to see how they stack up, and you might just be surprised at what I found. Who could be the biggest threat to Team USA in the Paris Olympic Games? What would a loss mean for the reputation of USA basketball internationally? And what are experts saying about the chances of an upset? I'll be going over everything here today, so buckle up, make sure you have all your belongings, and most importantly, enjoy the ride.
Here it is to Schroeder. He throws it up, and the Germans have done it! They have stunned the United States in the semifinals! Can you believe it?
In the latest international showdown at the 2023 FIBA Basketball World Cup, Team USA fell short of expectations. Not only did they miss out on the gold, but they didn't even win the bronze, losing out to Canada in a nail-biting overtime game.
And they have reached the podium. They have won the third-place game against the United States in the Battle of the Americas.
This result, however, wasn't a huge surprise. I mean, they didn't send their top-tier athletes this time around. And in fact, they even went beyond their bench warmers, fielding a squad that seemed more like their C team. 2024, however, paints a different picture. This time, Team USA is coming in strong with the powerhouse lineup featuring Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James, the three faces of the NBA over the last decade. And with all NBA caliber players from top to bottom, from players 1 through 12, USA is fielding a dream team that's set to dominate the competition.
Cocks it back, throws it down, and one.
When it comes to offense, Team USA has an unbeatable lineup. I mean, they can literally deploy a squad where 4 players have won NBA scoring titles, where all 5 players can stretch the floor, and where 1 is capable of averaging 30 points per game in the league. This lineup is the dictionary definition of an offensive powerhouse. And when Team USA needs to tighten up on defense, they have a lineup that can completely shut down their opponents. With Bam Adebayo and Anthony Davis capable of defending all 5 positions, and Jrue Holiday and Anthony Edwards serving as elite perimeter lockdown defenders, they form a formidable wall. Add Jason Tatum into the mix, who seamlessly fills any defensive gaps, and you've got a lineup that's defensively intimidating.
Up ahead, Neesmith, blocked! Edwards getting up, and good night!
Overall, this roster is so stacked that even if you remove the starters, this team would still be the clear-cut favorites to win an NBA championship if they played together. That's the level of talent we're talking about. From guards to forwards to centers, this team appears to have no weaknesses whatsoever. The only perceived weakness of this star-studded lineup might be the age of its key players. With Steph, Durant, and LeBron at 36, 35, and 39 years old respectively, they don't exactly symbolize speed and athleticism anymore. This could be seen as a potential limitation in a sport that values youth and physical talents. For context, back in the 1992 Dream Team, Michael Jordan was 29, Magic Johnson was 32, and Larry Bird was 35. Fast forward to the 2008 Redeem Team, Kobe Bryant was 29, Dwayne Wade was 26, and LeBron James was just 23. However, while age might be the only weakness for the 2024 team, advancements in sports science tells another story. These improvements have been so significant over the years that it's hard to tell that players like Curry, Durant, and LeBron are actually in the tail ends of their prime. This past year, for example, Steph has not only averaged more points, but has also improved his free throw shooting beyond his career average. Similarly, LeBron and KD have improved their shooting accuracy from the field and the three-point line, surpassing their career averages. So even though they're creeping up there in age, for these 3 athletes, age really is just a number. Then when you combine all these strengths of Team USA with LeBron's exceptional basketball IQ and Eric Spoelstra's tactical expertise, one of the finest coaching minds in the NBA, you essentially have what's known as a cheat code, an absolute game changer, giving the team an almost unfair advantage on the court. However, sports wouldn't be as thrilling if there wasn't always the possibility of an upset, and in the Olympics, where every match carries the weight of a must-win Game 7, anything can happen. This raises the big question: which teams have the best chances of beating the United States? Well, to find an answer, we turn to the betting odds, where people put their money where their mouths are. And here's what the numbers tell us. USA is unsurprisingly the clear favorite. Following them in the odds are Serbia, Canada, France, Germany, and Australia. This list isn't final yet because there are still key contenders vying for spots to compete in the Olympics. Slovenia, powered by Luka Doncic, Greece, led by Giannis, and Spain, a perennial powerhouse in international basketball, are still in the race for the last spots. But anyway, let's look at the current competition. Serbia fields some top-notch talent from the NBA, including Bogdan Bogdanovic and the reigning NBA MVP, Nikola Jokic. When Team USA faces Serbia, despite their stacked roster, they'll be up against the Joker, who's widely regarded as the best basketball player in the world today and who shouldn't be underestimated under any accounts. Team Canada, on the other hand, will also field a roster brimming with NBA talent. And while it may not be as star-studded as the US team, it's still packed with players who have proven themselves in the NBA. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was second in the latest MVP race, along with Jamal Murray, the Lakers Slayer, and RJ Barrett, who's known as Maple Mamba. Team Canada is quite the formidable opponent with serious upset potential. Then with Lou Dort and Dylan Brooks being defensive monsters, and with other names like Andrew Wiggins, Shaedon Sharpe, Trey Lyles, Benedict Mathurin in the mix, and let's not forget Zach Edey as well, the two-time reigning National College Player of the Year. Team Canada has the potential to be absolutely deadly. In a best-of-7 where adjustments can be made after every game, Team USA would likely be the absolute clear-cut favorites over Canada. But in a winner-take-all situation, like in the Olympics, underestimating this Canadian team could be a huge disaster. Then, after Canada, is France. So, about this team. Imagine Rudy Gobert and Victor Wembanyama both patrolling the paint on the same team without the 3-second violation rule. This is going to be a nightmare for any team trying to score inside. And honestly, this duo could go down as the most unstoppable interior defense basketball has ever seen. Let me emphasize that again. Gobert and Wembanyama, without the 3-second rule, might just redefine basketball defense as we know it. I look forward to seeing what France could do this year. But moving on, Germany is the defending world champions from 2023, and then there's Australia, another nation brimming with NBA talent. So, as you can see, there are several teams that can potentially cause an upset, and for those doubting the possibility of an upset, look no further back than 2004. Despite having legends like Tim Duncan and Allen Iverson, alongside rising stars LeBron James, D. Wade, and Carmelo Anthony, Team USA suffered unexpected losses to Puerto Rico, Lithuania, and Argentina. Then, even in the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo, Team USA, led by Durant, Bam, Booker, and Tatum, faced challenges. Despite winning the gold medal in the end, they stumbled in Game 1 against France. As Murphy's Law goes, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And that's a lesson Team USA will need to bear in mind. Anyway, let's now address the elephant in the room. What would a loss mean for the reputation of USA basketball? Honestly, a loss like this would be a crushing blow to the reputation. I get it, this might not be the strongest team USA has ever assembled, but it's still the cream of the crop for 2024, the current dream team, if you will. And so far in Team USA history, sure, they've had some tough losses in international games, but here's the thing. It's never been their star-studded dream team that took the hit. It's never been the A-team, the absolute top-notch players they could send out there. Take 2004, for instance. Sure, they had Duncan and Iverson, but they were missing superstars like Kobe, Shaq, and Garnett. And while LeBron, Wade, and Carmelo were on the roster, at the time, they were only 19, 22, and 20, just new kids on the block. Then in 2023, the spotlight fell on Jalen Brunson and Anthony Edwards as the top players of the USA World Cup team. But here's the thing, neither of them had an All-NBA team before the 2023 World Cup. Now, don't get me wrong, they're both incredible players, especially considering their performance this year. But having them as the best players on an international stage doesn't exactly send shivers down the spines of opposing teams. But this 2024 team, with the three faces of the NBA still dominating at the highest level, there's simply no room for excuses.
Drain down the track. Look out! Blocking foul.
Next off, when it comes to the question of who could be the biggest threat, Serbia, led by Nikola Jokic, definitely stands out, especially since they're in the same Group C as the US team. And right after them, it's gotta be Team Canada with SGA and Murray. Most experts online are also leaning towards Canada as the team that could totally shock the world. And honestly, it's not a surprise considering how stacked their roster is with NBA talent. In any case, here we are again, with a scenario where Team USA has everything to lose and nothing to gain. They're under immense pressure to win, to dominate, and anything less than that would certainly tarnish the United States' reputation in basketball. So, will we witness another year of total dominance by USA Basketball, or could 2024 mark not only a new era in NBA basketball, but in world basketball as well? We'll soon find out, but in the meantime, did you know that many fans believe the NBA playoffs are rigged? I've been glued to as many games as possible, and let me tell you, some moments seem pretty fishy. And if you're curious about what I'm talking about, do yourself a favor and click on this video right here.